So mold is just an example of what can happen to DNA over time, one of the many factors that can eventually compromise it, right? Okay, so let's move on to this. We're looking at the murder weapon.
This is one of the murder weapons.
So how incredible is it that there is only one cell available to test, and it just happens to go into CODIS at a perfect time to find a match?
It's a miracle.
Emergency responders are using a variety of techniques to search for missing persons, including the use of drone technology. 77% of Americans believe that crime is increasing in the nation.
What kind of information if the scene told you that she was fighting back?
Well,
So that each individual student can have their own personalized experience.
One of the easiest ways to tell that a farmer in front of you might be turning is by looking at the turn signals that you can find right here.
It's in the 20s at the time that we're filming this, and I've got my gloves on, my jacket, my scarf, but I'm still cold.
If you've been hiking in Warbler Ridge recently, you might notice something weird. Some of the trees have a thin blue line around the bottom. There's a reason for that.
Is that they'll do anything to make their Olympian smile.
Now for a special report tonight, tomorrow, and Wednesday, we're taking a closer look at an unsolved missing persons case in Newton.
In July of 2021, Bethany Bower disappeared from her home. To this day, authorities still don't know where she went.
We still talk about her. I pray for her every day that she's found.
Do you feel like there is someone in the community that knows what happened and isn't speaking up?
I do. I do feel that way.
The city of Newton. It's in Jasper County, and according to the sheriff, it's one of the least populated counties per capita in the state. And there's only one special investigator with the state's attorney. Every day as he walks into work, he says there's a question that's on his mind. Every day for the last 4 years. Where is Bethany Bower?
So I remember just coming in at 8 a.m. and reading the reports, and I saw there was a missing persons case. So I didn't really actually know Bethany.
But as time progressed, Special Investigator Riley Britton learned more about Bethany from people close to her, like her sister Barbara. According to Barbara, Bethany had been living with her for around 4 months to help take care of their elderly mother.
Beth is, until she knows you, she's pretty quiet, but then she is goofy.
With Beth, it was kind of anywhere I was going, she was with me.
She could walk up to someone that was not in the best of moods that day and just cut up with them, trying to get them in a better mood.
I can remember times that I would just be like, what are you doing? She's like, nothing. And she'd be like, what's wrong? No, I'm on my way. She'd hang up the phone and just come right over.
It was July 29th, 2021, when 38-year-old Bethany Bower's loved ones say they began to worry.
Family noticed that there was belongings that she had there. It was underneath the chair that she usually sat on. This would have been early in the morning.
When I got home, her dog was laying underneath the chair in front of the house on the porch.
Bethany's loved ones say she had a new puppy and she never went anywhere without it.
It was very, very hot that day and she was panting. And so I opened the door. I said, tell Beth her dog needs some water. And both my husband and my little brother said, we haven't seen Beth all day. She hasn't been here all day.
Did she ever express to you that she maybe wanted to leave or start over?
No, not away from Newton.
Tomorrow at 5:30, we take a closer look at what led up to Bethany's disappearance. Newton police say Bethany is 5'8", 160 to 170 pounds, and has straight shoulder-length brown hair. Call the Newton Police Department at the number on your screen with any information. Again, be watching tomorrow for Where's Bethany Bower?
We've been updating you on an investigation into a shooting that killed one person at a pop-up party near Illinois State University last weekend.
Now law enforcement is preparing in case the party comes to Charleston this weekend.
Pop-up parties, large gatherings of people in unconventional spaces like parks or parking lots, seemingly out of nowhere. Newswatch spoke with someone who attended a party near Illinois State University last weekend that ended in violence.
There was probably about 600 to 700 people there. We weren't on campus. We were at a park pavilion.
Video shows a large number of people gathered in that pavilion just hours before gunshots broke out.
Probably the first hour or so was fine, just college students listening to music and singing the songs kind of thing. Probably about 2.5 hours in, the police did surround the park, making everyone leave the park.
A majority of the people that were at Fairview Park then
went to the Circle K.
That's where Normal police say shots were fired, sending one victim to the hospital in critical condition and killing 18-year-old Randall Glass of Oaklawn. Newswatch asked Normal police, who is organizing these pop-up parties?
It is very difficult to kind of find out who the organizer is for a pop-up party, because there might not be one person who is generally the organizer.
Charleston police say they've received concerns from citizens of widely circulated TikToks claiming partygoers are coming to EIU next. Coles County Chief Deputy Tyler Hyleen says Charleston has a plan.
We're prepared to bring in more manpower if needed, and we are aware of the situation, and we're planning for it.
University Police Chief Marisol Gamboa says her department is collabing with Charleston Police, the Coles County Sheriff's Office, and even Mattoon Police to put extra officers on the streets. She says they may even double university officers with local officers and cars to prepare extra manpower.
We've been told that it can be 1,000 to 2,000 people at these parties.
You can have 20, 30 officers there, but is it safe to send them into a crowd of 1,000 people?
EIU President Jay Gatrell asks students to stay safe and stay on campus.
Stay together and stay in community with your friends. That's really critical always, any weekend.
Area law enforcement say they always prepare for large crowds around EIU's homecoming weekend. University police say they plan to block off some parking lots to prevent large gatherings. Authorities say you can help by reporting any suspicious or unusual activity.
Well, if you take a trip out to Warbler Ridge in Charleston, you may notice something odd near some of the trails. Newswatch's Olivia Bennett went for a walk in the woods with conservationists and learned about a project that officials say they're passionate about.
If you've been hiking in Warbler Ridge recently, you might notice something weird. Some of the trees have a thin blue line around the bottom. There's a reason for that.
So the Indiana bat is federally endangered, and here's a little picture of it. The first time I saw a bat was actually in Mattoon. Mattoon has a lot of bats, surprisingly, just flying around. They would roost in one of the trees in our yard, so if you were out around dusk, you would see them flying over our house.
Warbler Ridge is making places for those bats to live, and so they're doing a tree killing routine known as hatchet girdling. Now, why would a conservation area want to kill trees? Warbler Ridge says it's for a good cause.
The bats love to get up on that deceased, rotting, peeling bark. They love to get up underneath that, and they roost and they make their homes there.
I went for a ride with Community Engagement Coordinator Taylor McLean to explore the habitat and the efforts from Warbler Ridge to save the bats.
And within this habitat, there are shag, bark hickory, and oak trees that we planted.
The trees are small now, but McLean says that someday they will become safe spaces for the winged animals. But the star of the habitat are the bat pods, large poles with synthetic bark that bats can climb under. That's where bats hide during the day, but at night, they fly. According to the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, Indiana bats' winter habitats have been destroyed by collapse, commercialization, flooding, and vandalism. McLean says she didn't realize how special seeing such endangered animals in her own backyard during her childhood was.
Bats are really cool.
And she wishes she would have studied them more closely.
I wish about that all the time. I always think about that and would definitely go back and do that if I could.
When we look at the furthest deaths apart from each other in Norwalk and then in Plymouth, that's about 186 miles. That's almost 200 miles. That's pretty far. Is that something that you would typically see for a serial killer in this small of a time frame? Do you think that this internet speculation, that this is healthy discussion, or do you think that this could potentially be harmful to an investigation?
A federal judge has extended a temporary order blocking deployment of National Guard troops to Chicago. The Teutopolis community will commemorate a tragic moment in its history with a ceremonial bell toll tonight. The president also said he'll soon announce which government programs he intends to permanently eliminate. Sherelle Hubbard has more.
Do you feel like this functions similarly to a cult, and would you say it would maybe qualify as a cult?
I mean, I'm definitely
looking into hate groups like these, especially where they live online. The growing use of encryption. Do you think that poses a threat to these potential investigations?
3 people are dead and 1 person is injured following a shooting in western Illinois. The Pike County Sheriff's Office says.
So if someone is deadlocked and they have a medical emergency, what happens? And you decided to take a stand. Can you tell me step by step what that looked like and how you got to the place that you're in now, where you're advocating?
So just as it's the time of year for dry weather, it's also the time when more seasonal sickness like COVID, the flu, and RSV start to appear.
That's all for sports. Olivia, over to you.
Thanks, Andrew. I'm from Charleston, and when I was in school, we rarely won the Clash, so that's exciting news. The United States Postal Service delivers some news on stamps. You know, Ben, I walked outside today, and for the first time in a long time, I actually told myself I'm kind of cold, and I can appreciate it. Thanks for the forecast. Still to come. Finally, on this Monday, one man is showing his love for University of Tennessee football with his beard.